will we actually get a Mad Max franchise? Do you think this thing has legs? It's going up this weekend against Tomorrowland, Poltergeist, all that.
I think it has legs. I do.
Yeah.
I think it'll be, we talked about this before, that it'll be like a Kingsman that'll sort of build over time. Or like an Edge of Tomorrow, which, you know, that initially it seemed like that was really a bust. You know, it didn't work at all. But over time it built up. And it
overseas, too.
Overseas, yeah. So I think that there's a chance for that with Fury Road.
I hope so, Carl. I mean, just you don't even have to have seen the movie to kind of know. Like,
and I actually think that I agree with Ralph. I think that there is potential for it to just have a really strong second week here through word of mouth. I mean, I saw, aside from all the like sort of like anti-feminist banter that was going on around about this movie, I felt like there was really, really positive word of mouth. Like almost everybody that was on my Twitter feed that had seen it was just gushing about it. And so like maybe that's a testament to who's on my Twitter feed, but it's also a testament to the people who liked it, really, really liked it, and they're going to tell their friends, and their friends are going to go see it.
And I think
that's what happened with Kingsman too.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't the most stellar opening weekend. It was good. You know, it was a good opening weekend, and probably better than we originally expected.
It opened up against 50 Shades too, which was
true.
even tougher, you know, thing to go up against. I'm going to play devil's advocate for naysayers here, and I hate to have to do it, but you're talking about people on your Twitter feed who are already sharing your interests. I've talked to several people who don't give a crap about Mad Max, never had seen maybe any of the other ones, and going off of the cinema score, we're at a B+, and Pitch Perfect 2 got an A-. Doesn't sound like much, but Pitch Perfect 2 is a movie that people are going to go again because of music, and it's a light comedy. I'm sure it'll drop a bit, but most of the people I've talked to who are not fanboys didn't really, they saw Fury Road, they're like, it's good, don't need to see it again. And their word of mouth is going to be pretty lukewarm because all I hear is, yeah, it didn't have a story, and Tom Hardy got run over, basically, metaphorically, by Charlize Theron.
Right, so here's what I'm thinking. And here's the thing that I think needs to happen. The base of this movie is essentially the person out there who would play a game like Borderlands. That group is huge. You know, like so many people play Borderlands. Enough so that anybody who played Borderlands or enjoyed something like Fallout or something like that should be going to see this movie. So if you're a person who's kind of on the fence about it, but you enjoy those experiences, you should go do it and then advocate it, because this is a special movie. This is a different movie than we have been seeing from the studio system. And you know, our colleagues in San Francisco did a piece about what other blockbusters can kind of learn from the spirit of this movie. And I agree with that. I would say, you know, it's different, it's special. These kinds of movies need help, though, because it's not actually the standard cookie cutter thing that we're used to.
It isn't.
And, you know, they're not the kind of movies. It sounds stupid to say a movie needs help when it's $150 million, but it does. Like, if you want to see more things like this, you have to vote with your money at the box office, usually in the first 2 weeks. And if you don't do that, it's cool, but like that's what studios are looking at. If they're not seeing those receipts in the first 2 weeks, then these movies, these kind of movies, they won't bet on them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, too, then you take something like Pac Rim, which it's not like they announced a sequel right away.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
was a slow
That was a slow drip as well. But eventually it got to the point that they're like, it's worth it. And I feel like with Mad Max, because, and I really love this movie, I do think people will repeat go see it. I know plenty of people that are planning on or have already repeat seen it. I'm going to see it a few more times. My brother, who I've mentioned before and is my litmus test for like general public audience, is he asked me, he's like, should I go see this? And he sees like 2 or 3 movies a year, as by the way most people do. They don't go every week like we do. But I was like, yeah, definitely. You know, we watched Road Warrior together a lot as kids, and we love that. You're going to love this for sure. Yes, there's the connection of having seen it, but I feel like if you're just interested in insane action awesome, and you are, you'll go see Mad Max.
Yeah. And I don't want to come across as the guy saying he didn't like the movie, because if you watched last week's...
No, you loved it, yeah.
I loved it. You know, I'm just saying I'm a practical person, a
Pitch
pragmatist,
Perfect.
and I'm just saying that it's got a lot more eating away at its base of people who would go see it than Pitch Perfect 2 does.
It has a broader,
it's going up against
appeal.
Tomorrowland and Poltergeist, and that crowd is going to eat into, and Avengers is still out. Pitch Perfect 2 is a different animal, and it's going to have a different set of people who will go see it again. And I am worried for Mad Max. I'm going to reiterate this. It should have opened up in March or September.
Definitely.
Opening it up in May was a bad idea.
The R rating is a factor too. You know, that is
and
a
the
smaller,
length of the movie.
That is a smaller audience. An R rating is a smaller audience.
Because families are going to, I mean, and understandably, somebody tweeted me like kind of upset, which I understood because he liked the movie a lot, going like kind of upset that he was under the assumption that families had taken their kids to Pitch Perfect versus Mad Max. And I was like, well,
well they should.
Yeah, like, you know, like I would too if I had kids.
I'm upset that I didn't get to go to see 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, like
my parents only took me to see Frozen.
I mean, that's like, well, of course they did because for reasons.
Did you hear about the school teacher that showed? I don't know if it was a man or a woman, but the school teacher didn't know about 50 Shades of Grey and what it was.
Whoa.
And they let the kids were like, okay, we did really good this semester. Can we have a reward? We want it because it's out on Blu-ray now. Can we watch 50 Shades? I'm like, oh, sure. And the teacher goes off to do whatever. The kids are watching the movie. Teacher's not paying attention. The assistant principal walks by, looks in the window like, the hell is going on here?
How
puts
old
an
were
end
the
to
kids?
it. I don't know. I think they were in high school.
It's
it's a public school, and the teachers.
They've already gone so much further than that movie does. That movie's actually pretty tame.
Yeah,
it definitely is.
But overall, I mean, what does Mad Max have to make to warrant that sequel? Because home video isn't what it used to be. I mean, so you can't say, we'll make up its money on Blu-ray. That doesn't mean that much anymore.
It's not as much anymore, yeah.
And certainly didn't get Dread a sequel anytime soon.
I think it is an interesting movie. It is kind of like Dread, where it has this really, really galvanized base of people who are really excited about it. But
it's already doing better than Dread.
It had a hell of a lot better marketing campaign, too.
Definitely better than Dread in terms of marketing and opening as well. But it's similar in that it needs to make up some ground now in the coming weeks. And you're right, home video isn't always the answer. It's replaced home video is international. So like if there's more, I don't know how many territories it's left to open in, but sometimes you can pick stuff up along the way.
A dozen or so. I know that it opened, it's already out overseas, and I think it is that it's a movie that, even though Pitch Perfect 2 is doing fine overseas, that's the kind of movie that I think it does translate better to a.
It's the opposite, right? Like in other territories, Pitch Perfect 2 is doing less business. This is doing way more business in other territories.
And American comedies are like that too.
Yeah. But that makes sense. I mean, especially Mad Max is so about, the story is driven by the action. The dialogue is often irrelevant.
But you know what? Violence is universal.
And so is love.
Unfortunately. And song. All right, well, we want to know what you guys think of Mad Max Fury Road's chances of getting a sequel, which George Miller says, if it happens, would be called Mad Max: Wasteland. All one word, Wasteland.
Dun, dun, dun.
So,
have you seen the movie?
Yeah.
Really seriously, like it's all a wasteland, right?
Yeah, I mean.
No, but it is. Yeah.